This meeting is being recorded.
Hello and welcome to episode 3 of Chatting Shit about the Forge Cup. It's now been out for 5 days, so the previous 2 episodes were recorded back to back a couple of days in, so no pressure guys, but I'm expecting some insightful stuff now. It's been out a few days. Joined by Cal, Aaron and Phil. How is everyone?
Good mate.
Very well.
Good, thanks.
Any overall thoughts on the cup from anyone?
It can't be as bad as last month.
Well, I'm glad we're all in agreement then. Yeah, I'm quite liking it too.
Yeah. I usually don't like points matters, but this one's caught my attention. You know, they've always been they could have been better, the few we've had. But this one looks really good.
Yeah, I think they've nailed it with this one, to be honest. They've nailed it. Phil, you're going to go first this time. So that'll good with you?
Fine with me. I'm guessing it's in like PB Poke order.
No, it's just in the order that I've come up with tonight.
Right, I was about to say, because I didn't think mine was that meta, looking at the win rate.
No, I've just in my head there's a few links and stuff, so we'll go this way.
Okay, so my pick. Oh, Dan's gonna kill me if I don't know it. I'm not gonna ask Alexa. I'm gonna learn.
Education live on Chatting Shit. This is what you come for, right?
This is why everyone comes to it, isn't it? Number. Pokédex number. I wasn't Googling quick enough. Oh, easy. Oh, of course. It's Gen 5, isn't it? So number 503, Samurott. So my first instinct, dark and steel. Psychics are free everywhere. Like literally, the only thing that resists your confusion users is another psychic one itself. So I haven't got an arachnid yet. I think it's a nice little side grade Samurott. Bit of water, blasting everything, and a bit of Fury Cutter Megahorn. I've enjoyed using it in Colony for factions. And I think it can be really spammy and can catch a few people off guard. It's squishy. Doesn't really do well on paper or on the internet, but in Sims. But it is impressive in the right hands. And Fury Cutter, as we all know, that one-turn move, sneaky.
Have you played much of it in this cup though, Phil?
Not yet. Go on, tell me it's going to be rubbish.
No, it's interesting because I've played a bit with the Arachnid, and I found that when you think of bug bites, you think of it on Fortress, right? And it sort of chunks a bit, but Arachnid's so bulky, bug bite doesn't really chunk. So I thought it was interesting that you mentioned Fury Cutter as a side grade, because I imagine a Fury Cutter from a Samurott and a bug bite from an Arachnid are doing similar amounts of damage, right? So it's an interesting one.
Yeah, I mean, I like the thought of bug damage here. I almost looked at Vespiquen.
Nice.
I don't know what it is, but I felt like psychic types and normal and potentially some fighters. I thought, oh, Vespiquen will be all right. You never know. I might go back to Vespiquen. But yeah, Samurott. I've enjoyed using it. This is my new toy at the moment. I know it's been out for a while, since Com Day was like months and months ago. I enjoy using it. Obviously, just about squeezes past Hypno.
Just about
squeezes past Hypno, as it should. Turns out it doesn't beat Mew. So So if something that does bug damage doesn't beat Mew,
Does it beat
Does-
Crest?
that's what I'm going to look up now. Hang on.
I can tell you this for a fact. It doesn't beat Cress if Cress has
Grass.
an
Grass
energy
knot.
lead and Grass not. Yeah.
Because
Because so it's interesting, Phil, right? I looked at it for Colony or Alchemy or whichever one it was, and do you know what? It seems really nice as a switch because with a bit of energy, it's difficult to switch in on it.
dies with the
However,
hydrogen ones.
to Cress.
Oh,
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
So here's the
Solid.
problem, though, right? In my mind, Phil, it's great with energy, but if it beats nothing, if it doesn't beat anything from a standing start, how are you going to switch it in? Like, what are you switching it into to beat to get the energy?
Can I change my pick?
We can come back to you at the end.
Yeah, Cress. People are going to pick that for 8 points, aren't they? As opposed to hitting 0 for 4. Or there's another psychic type that I really like at 2 points.
Yeah, Oranguru. By the time this comes out, Marcus
Yeah.
has chatted shit about Oranguru, so we can let that cat out of the bag. That's good.
yeah. Oranguru looks amazing for 2 points.
So
I
do,
think-
Beating all the other psychics. It's just
I think
Well,
the ices maybe would be where you want it, right? If people decide to start picking up ice types.
that's true. Yeah, but then just go back to Cress a bit. Like Cress beats Oranguru, generally speaking, because it's getting to.
Future Sight and Grass Knot? Or does it need Moonblast to do it?
I can't remember. I had a look at it, and I'm pretty sure Cress beats Oranguru on the whole. Like it's pretty even. But
Yeah.
it's fastest than
If it comes down to the moves, I think Future Sight Grass Knot's better here. You're not hitting much with Moonblast other than neutral matchups like the Mirror. And if you need Moonblast to beat Oranguru, I'd say it's more Oranguru's game to lose then.
Yeah, agreed. Well, have you had any experience or thoughts on Samurott, Cal?
I'm quite enjoying it in Colony at the moment. I think on paper in the Sims, it doesn't actually look all that good, but tends to play out a lot better than what the Sims suggest, I found. And was it Glacial it was quite good at as well?
Yeah. It's very good in Glacial, which I don't know. Another one with like a lot of ice and a psychic. But I think here with how good Lickitung looks, obviously it's Lickitung, it's so bulky. A lot of people who have it will probably pick it. And then people, go fighters or something like that to counter it.
There's a lot of stuff here in general, which it's like the bug damage here. I kind of feel like it's a nice idea, and if you can get it to work, I think it's really nice. But it doesn't really hit much else other than the psychic types. And when it's non-stab, the bug damage, it can be a little underwhelming. I find so. I do think you're going to be reliant on the hydro cannon a lot. Fantastic move to rely on, right?
that mega horn when it lands is just brilliant.
Yeah, it does hit very hard.
But yeah, you're spamming hydro cannons against anything. I just don't want to be using Politoed. I don't want to be using Politoed. I don't. I hate that frog.
You hate that frog.
I hate that.
I don't think Politoed's that great here.
No.
Oh, agreed.
Samurott is shockingly frail.
Yes.
Yeah.
Way frailer than you expect it to be.
Yeah, it's horrific, isn't it? Like it's so. Like if you, I feel like using Samurott, you've got to be really disciplined. You've got to just never shield it, because the moment you shield it once, you're setting yourself up for being farmed down, right? That's because by the time you've got to your second move or close to your second move, you're pretty much dead. So your opponent's going to just farm straight through you. So if you're like me and you have a plan and then you stray from it immediately, Samurott is not the way to go in my mind.
Yeah, I think
but-
if you know you can win switch against the team with it, with a bit of energy, you can sort of use it as sort of like that pivot and just RPS them essentially, which is not where we want to be going. But if you have to play that way with it, and it's got that option as well, double shield, just spam the hydro cannons because it demands shields back. Like hydro cannon and mega horn both hit super hard.
Yeah.
You're going to want to shield it unless in neutral matchups anyway.
Mm.
And if their best answer is Crest, then that's kind of close. You're going to take shields, could maybe force one because I'm pretty sure you'll get close to mega horn if you get a decent energy lead.
Oh yeah,
before
sure.
they get to a move. You probably chunk a grass knot anyway. It's not going to be pretty, but you'll live one.
Yeah, from Crest, yeah. On the grass point, Phil, there's a lot of grass types in the 4 and 2 point slots, right? Like there's a lot of them there. Like, to me that suggests the people that are behind the cup think that grass is going to be good. That's what if I'm reading between the lines and seeing that. Does that put you off at all? And I know it's got bug damage to help, but with the frailty, how do you feel about grasses in general?
I think right. Okay, so you see, you reckon grass is a little bit more free. Dragon types gone, steel types gone. Are they trying to make fire useful? Maybe. So what? You've got Venus, Superior,
Meganium,
Jumpluff,
and then in the
Ivysaur.
Yeah, but this is it in the 2 point slot. They've got Ivysaur and they've got Oddish and they've got Bellossom.
Loranta.
Yeah, there's so many weird grass types in the two, and that for me that's setting off some sort of alarm bells. Thinking, oh, hang on.
I think with Ninetales at 6 and 8 with the shadow and non-shadow, and Marowak just getting its shadow, and obviously standard Marowak's always been pretty good. If Crest is good, Marowak beats it, so you could see quite a few Marowak. 4 points isn't too bad for it, and Shadow Ninetales hits so much with overheat. Like nothing likes taking one. I think you'll see a couple of fire types knocking about, and that will scare off the grasses because if they're not doing really well against teams, you don't tend to see them too much. There might be one on a team, but will they bring it if you've got a fire type?
Mm.
And if that grass doesn't do well against the rest, you've got a water that can hit back here. It charges quickly. So if you swap in, outpace them, you could end up taking both shields. Just go down a loose switch, take shield advantage, farm down with your fire.
Yeah, that's true. There's plenty of fires, poisons, bugs around, right?
Yeah.
Flies as
Yeah.
well.
Even with like Nidoqueen at 8 points, I think we'll still see a few because it's so good.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. Yeah. Any go on, Phil, what are you thinking?
I don't know. I don't want to help everybody condense the matter. But I'm seeing an anti-grass check on everyone's team now. You've kind of opened everyone's eyes. Mainly my own. I'm looking for what my grass answer is now.
Fair. Well, there'll be plenty of discussion on that later on, I'm sure, in this episode.
Yeah. Oh, just an FYI, even with Moonblast, Orangaroo does beat Cress.
Oh, really? Okay. I think Crest picks up. I thought Crest picked up 2s.
Okay.
Just because it's so slow to get to full power.
Yeah, it's baiting grass. It's baiting grass nuts.
Right. Well, yeah. It's not as one-sided matchup as you might think. But yeah.
You have to land both. So is it really a bait of a grass nut?
All right. Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah. Fair enough. Well, should we move on to Cal's pick, who hopefully is a bit more confident
Useful
in his pick?
I wouldn't say that.
I enjoyed it. I just kind of wish I'd have picked something different now. Looking at PV Poke, it's like, yeah, it doesn't beat anything. Speaking of waters that beat grass,
Yep. So my pick is Pokedex number 226, the kite Pokemon, and it's Mantine. So it's ranked 72 overall for this meta, and the recommended movesets Wing Attack, Bubble Beam, and Ice Beam. It has a 61% win rate in the ones versus the whole meta. So I've gone for the whole meta rather than the condensed meta because I think it's still quite open at the moment. But what I like about it is against a lot of the 8-point picks, it looks like it has really good matchups against most of them. So it's got fairly decent play against a lot of those. And I think in the points and slot based metas, you tend to get people who'll pick like a water, a grass, a fire, a fighter, or so on. And with the moveset versatility, you've got coverage for quite a lot of movesets there. And everyone knows it's annoying as shit to play against as well. So I think it's quite, it's not expensive. It's 4 points, I think, isn't it? Mantine.
Oh, I'm not sure. To be honest, it's not sure.
I'm pretty sure it's 4 points.
It's 4.
I mean, obviously it gets wrecked by electric.
Right.
Yeah. But do you think we'll see much electric here?
Galvantula.
Yeah.
It's always
Your
available.
options are like Pachirisu is available for anyone who has it, but you won't see many of them unless you're playing Dan.
And then you'll see it every game. Yeah.
Yeah, because he loves that thing. You got Zapdos, Graveler, Golem, which has just got rollouts on new toy syndrome.
Stunfisk's there at 4 points, which I think's got a lot of play.
Stunfisk's always pretty good. Galv down at rank 80 for 4 points. Not sure. I mean, it's not great against most of the psychics sometimes, especially the bulkier ones.
I think there's too much bulk around here for Galov to really make it smart. And I think
and if it's not beating the psychics, what is it beating? Because there's not going to be like more than, if somebody's brave, they'll run double water. Yeah. I don't think you'll see more than 2 waters or like a water and a flyer.
No. But I think the bulkier meta suits Mantine personally, because the problem always is you want to, if you're going to shield with Mantine, you want to shield the first move before you've debuffed them with double beam. And if that, and so you often end up giving up shields playing it. But if the meta is bulkier in general, sometimes there isn't that necessity to give up that shield straight away. And you can lose the zeros and set up a farm down against something that's had 4 bubble beam debuffs, because like ultimately the opponent, if they stay in, there are no threat to you whatsoever because they've just got no attack stat left. So you could either guarantee a really, really nice farm, or they'll just have to switch out immediately and give you switch back. So it's, in a bulky meta, I think Mantine works. And I like Pidgeot here for similar reasons. With Feather Dance, although I don't see the utility in Feather Dance as much as Bubble Beam because it's that little bit slower. I think if I was using Pidgeot, I'd be a bit more aggressive and just practically never click Feather Dance and just go constantly straight for Brave Birds. But with Mantine, I think there's the opposite approach to be had personally.
Mantine has 0 aggression.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, but if you get it locked in on something that doesn't want to see it, that's it. There's no way out. Especially if they're bulky. Because after one bubble beam, bulky things do nothing.
I think, most people have played Silph for a bit have come unstuck against the Mantine at some point. And there's nothing you can do about it. You just have to like slowly get bubble beam to death or just switch, and then that's it, isn't it?
I think if the grasses are sort of pushed away by fire and bulk, bubble might be the way to go, just for that slightly better move.
Yeah.
You'll be able to farm down a lot more things with bubble than you will with wing attack. But obviously it's total, like, you'll see people running like bubble and aerial ace, which is just never fun because aerial ace is terrible.
Oh,
I feel like mentioning that whenever I can. But it's still terrible. But no, with the stuff that you beat, it'll be very strong. I think if it'll be good against Nido Queen teams. Any fire, it'll be able to go one like toe to toe with all the other flyers. You can even do okay against Stunfisk if they've not got Thundershock. It's not great, but after a Bubble Beam, I'm pretty sure you'll live a Discharge, and an Ice Beam hurts them if you've got Bubble. It still has play against a lot. You may have to work it into shield advantage or energy advantage or both, but there's not much wall in it here with Steel gone.
Cal, given that there is no aggression behind Mantine, and you spoke about the moveset options, but there's one, like, really, whether you go in Bubble Beam, whether you go in Bubble or Wing Attack, there's no aggression there, right? It's not like the choices it's not like the choice of the Charm or Wing Attack. I'd be tempted to go Bullet Seed purely because I was saying before we started recording, I think the Quag Noctowl or Quag Pidgeot is pretty strong, as it was in Nemesis Cup, which is recent. So that core is fresh in people's mind. Bullet Seed, you can do the grass thing and pick off Quag without having the fire weakness, without having the poison weakness, and that's something which is really valuable, I think. Something that I like about breeding as well. And you're then faster to your Ice Beams to pick off the flyers. Now, whether you'd actually beat the flyers still, I don't know. But
probably depend on the flyer.
Yeah, well, yeah, and that's it, right? But it's a case of it's, and this is what's nice about Mantine is you never can be quite sure what it's going to do. I remember playing one in what was the real RPS Cup with Dragonite and Steelix that you loved?
Guardian.
I think Guardian, yeah. Great cup.
I remember playing a Mantine in Guardian Cup, and I was really weak to Mantine, my team. Then it got to the point where it was running, like Mantine was generally ran Bubble Beam and Ice Beam, as it normally does. So I got to the point where I was using Poliwrath as the Mantine answer, because Poliwrath just walls it because it was running Bubble. It was running Bubble Beam, Ice Beam. But so I was staying there, charging up for my Ice Punches, and then I got hit with an Aerial Ace, and that ruined my day. So this is it. You can really, like, generally speaking, because it's not aggressive, because it wins its games slowly. The differences in overall, the differences in moveset use, the differences in the matchups from one moveset to another are going to be either really, really minor or absolutely massive. So you can look for those and pick those out. So I think Bullet Seed is worth considering on my team.
It barely beats any flyers with it. I've just checked. You pick up Noctowl, and that's about it.
Yeah, but I mean that's fine. That's kind of what you want to pick up, right?
You don't beat Pidgeot. Pidgeot destroys you.
Well, I don't think you beat Pidgeot with Wing Attack, I don't think.
Well, this is it. And the thing is,
closer, isn't it, though?
If you're judging by PvP, nothing ever beats Pidgeot, does it? So unless it's Bastard.
You can shield in Feather Dances like every single turn.
Yeah, exactly. So I won't worry too much about that. But
can beat Samurott straight Bubble Beam.
Oh, you wall it, don't you? So
Wow.
that was a low blow. That was a.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, Mantine's gonna be on every team, so I can't pick it now.
Joe. So Jay in episode 1 picked Gligar. Gligar beats Samurott, Phil. That's one for you.
Ooh.
A ground type that beats a Hydro Cannon thrower.
Yeah.
Because you're doing no fast move damage.
Yeah, you're doing no fast move damage at all. Yeah. Yeah, Gligar will chew the first Hydro Cannon and then go from there. Yeah.
This meta needs a solid water gunner. That's what it needs.
It does. Who doesn't love a water gunner? I love a water gunner. I was looking at Water Gun Quag at some point, and then I fell asleep because that was a bad idea. But
I was looking at. I did some practice battles with the barrel the other day.
Bibarel, I like Bibarel. Blastoise.
If Marowak becomes big again as well, that's like.
Yeah, no, for sure.
It's always a nice pick.
Yeah, the Barrel and Blastoise, I think, have got some serious shout in that one point. In that 1 point slot. Aaron, you're up next with one of my favourite PvP Pokemon.
Shadow Golbat, and specifically the Shadow just for that extra damage. It's Pokédex number 42, and it looks like it can go toe-to-toe with pretty much everything here. There's not much that walls it now that the darks are gone. Obviously before you'd see like Umbreon or something, and you can't Poison Fang your way through that. From the 8-point picks, Lickitung, Nidoqueen are the big ones I'm looking at. Obviously, you won't see them together like you did in Venture, which was just a pain because they basically wall everything as a combo. I think it was like DD was the only thing that could get close. But with the Psychics being big, it'll depend what Psychic they bring. But they're only going to have one. And then outside of that, your counters aren't so much. It's even with almost all the flyers. Grass, fire. Fire is very even, unless Ninetales is running Psyshock, which I don't think you'll see much of. With Marowak, I don't think it's bait dependent anymore. I think you can go straight Shadow Ball and win the ones, unless they get a debuff on the Shadow Ball. But you just no shield the first and pray they don't have Shadow Ball, right? But yeah, stats wise, with a 2 wing attack advantage in the ones, you beat 78% of the meta. That's the full meta, not just the condensed. With the condensed, I think it's 75% with 2 draws, and those 2 draws are 2 different Pidgeot IV spreads. So you're picking up another 78, 79% there. But the big reason it looks good is Shadow Ball. I mean, the Psychics beat you, but how many of them running hard hitting, fast moves? Cress will have Psycho Cut, Mew if it's about, like Shadow Claw, maybe Volt Switch, but I doubt Volt Switch just because it gets walled by more. So then you've got Hypno, which you lose to. But the Confusions don't do as much as you'd expect. And they have to shield the Shadow Ball if they're the Shadow Hypno. So if you get the bait Shadow Ball with a bit of energy, you can flip that. There's not really much that's beating you that's Psychic with a bit of energy that isn't running Confusion. So then it becomes, well, what's countering Golbat on the swap? It's literally Electric and Ice. Most of the ice types at 8 points. You've got Frostlass, Bomber Snow, and Ninetales. Below that, you've got like Lapras, Dugong at 4, which will you see much of those two? I know people like Dugong, but if Lickitung or a fighter, or even some of the grasses that can beat them are big, it becomes more of a question of, do you have the Golbat counter? If not, I'll just be safe swapping. Rangaroo is the one that just threatens it.
Yeah, Arenga is.
Because obviously it's the only one that can consistently sort of just say, oh, you're walled. Because Poison Fang's not enough and Shadow Ball's resisted.
Yeah.
I think it really does pair well with Lickitung as well, because then you've got that Psychic answer.
Yeah, it's about the most. Golbat as well is about the hardest counter you'll get to things like Surf Etched. It's an incredible, it's an incredible fighting type counter. You
just found down, right?
Yeah, like it's just unless you're super aware of not wanting to be hit by a Brave Bird, which I don't think Surf Etched is going to run here with Dark and Grass damage being, with Dark damage being so good and Leaf Blade being such a good move generally. I don't see.
The only fighter that'll beat it is Gallade. It beats all of the others.
Yeah, and even then Gallade, like it's got a shield to do that because its charge moves aren't doing anything to you.
Yeah, the Shadow's very, very close with it because obviously Gallade has no defense. So you just drop that defense and then your wing attacks are doing like even more.
Yeah. I mean, I could talk about Golbat for days. I don't know. So I don't know whether if Cal, you want to go, if you've got any thoughts on Golbat first.
Does it? How does it fare against Ice Punch Primeape? Is that
It
still
beats it.
a comfortable win?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
too
it beats
fast.
it.
Too fast, yeah.
Well, the only other one
If
is Hitmontop, isn't it, with Stone Edge? But you're not getting to 2. Would imagine.
I guess Hitmonchan as well.
Shadow Hitmonchan with
with-
Thunder Punch, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
but
just
with
too
the
fast.
With 2 wing
Yeah.
attacks against Hitmontop, obviously they're not switching in on you, but if you've got a 900 battle rating, I'm
It's just
assuming that's
nasty, innit?
getting a Poison Fang bait, but even if not, with the shot, I'm assuming 2 Poison Fangs would kill plus wing attacks.
Yeah.
Hitmonchan fares a bit better.
I think Shadow Golbat's about one of the most terrifying safe swaps around. Because
Yeah.
if you've got nothing for it, it's just over, isn't it?
Not
Yeah.
much of a counter swap because obviously down energy, it's not great. But from a neutral point and with energy, it's really scary.
Yeah, it can force your opponent to play with, like, it can force your opponent to play at an energy or a shield advantage, which doesn't sound too helpful. But if they've got a team that's set up to play with switch advantage, then that's really helpful, right? That's
Yeah.
that I really liked it in Rose Cup way back in the day, just because of the and this was before Poison Fang was even good, but just having it to hit Charmers and then having the Shadow Ball to hit Ghosts, which typically deal well with poisons, being a reliable fighting type card, it's just a fantastic sort of Swiss Army knife Pokemon. And it covers like it's always something, like whenever we play draft, Golbat is always high on my list to get in the draft because when you think of what beats Charm users, you think it's Poison, Fire, and Steel resist Charm, all of which are weak to ground. So having the Poison type, which can deal okay with ground types, is, I find, really quite valuable.
Versus Crest in the ones, if they go Future Sight Grass Knot,
Yeah,
if you get a 1 wing attack lead, they have to bait Grass Knot, or you can go straight Shadow Ball and leave them on 10 HP.
Yeah, great mon. Absolutely fantastic mon.
If they shield a Poison Fang bait, which some people may do, you win.
Yeah.
It's just game over.
It's awesome.
Terrifying.
It's such a horrifying move combo because if you get the bait wrong, it's a horrible mistake to make.
Yeah, sure.
And with it having the ability to go straight Shadow Ball in quite a few matchups, it's even worse. Because if you're down a shield, you have to, like, if you're up a shield, it can still flip it because you have to shield that Shadow Ball that'll KO you. It can bait Poison Fang, just KO you because they'll outpace.
And if you don't shield, you're still left against a full health Golbat.
Yeah.
So
And
that's just nightmare.
And its typing makes it very difficult to get a lot of fast move pressure against it. Because when you think of the fast moves that it resists Razor Leaf, it resists Charm, it resists Counter.
Yeah.
Like, there's not much
Double
smackdown
resist.
around.
Double resist swap, Grass, Fighting, Bug.
Yeah,
So much double resist there. Well, it's probably going to smack Samurott.
Go on, Phil. Fight back. Go on.
Right. Well, I know it's called chatting shit. I'm going to change my pick. Right. How does it do against your lickers? I know not everyone's going to go licky. You've got Munchlax at 4, and you mentioned Greedent before. I think probably Greedent's probably the best one for this cup.
I would agree. Yeah.
Purely because of the crunch, because Oranguru is the centre of the meta.
We didn't
Wow,
do no
that's a
fast
bold-
move damage, though, is it?
That's a bold claim. I mean, Oranguru's
It
good.
is. It's the best. It's the best. It's the psychic that beats the psychic. So I'm saying it now. Oranguru is the centre of the meta. Hence why I think Greedent's the best. In terms of, yes, it's not doing a fast move, but what, are you going to have to throw a few Poison Fangs at it with Golbat?
Oh, I'm sure you will.
Greedent loses down a shield if you get a 1 wing attack lead. You can comfortably take Body Slams and Poison. They can no shield the first Poison Fang and shield the second, and they still lose from a standing start.
It looks
in the
like
wins. I think with zeros is zeros is where you're going to get close, and even that's probably going to be really tight because you're taking 2 poison fangs.
Yeah, it looks
So-
really comfortable.
So beware of the lickers, is what you're saying. Beware of the lickers. Greed ain't you good.
Yeah, Lickitung, I'm pretty sure you beat it in the 2s.
Yeah,
The ones is not
I
where
see
you.
too.
The ones is very close. I think the ones will come down to, is it a best buddy? Is it level 50? How much attack do you have on your Golbat type stuff? Because in the ones, rank 1 versus rank 1 Licky at level 50, you leave them with 1 HP if they no shield the first 2 poison fangs. You win if
That's
they shield
ridiculous.
you win if they shield the second one, because the third poison fang KOs.
Ridiculous.
And
Is it-
I'm assuming it beats Munchlax then if you outpace, and Licky doesn't beat it because it's bulkier, right?
Well, yeah, but the body slams will be doing more damage, so it could be give and take. But like the fact that it's so close on all these matchups with really bulky things, like anything that's neutral that's that close against Licky is seriously impressive, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah, Munchlax beats it in the ones, but 1 turn flips it. You die with a poison fang.
how do you feel about its value at 4 points? Because I must admit, when I first saw the meta, I thought Golbat was the first thing I thought of. I went straight to the 2 points bracket to look for it, and it wasn't there, and I had a little bit of a panic.
Yeah, it is a bit expensive, and you can't really run an 8-pointer and 4 pointers here. You literally can't. So you'd have to go with finding a right pairing out of the 8-pointers if you want an 8-pointer, or you just skip the 8-pointer, do a team of 4 4-pointers and 2 1-pointers. And there's 2-pointers as
There's
well.
more than
but
3 decent one pointers. You could very easily have an 8-4-2 triple one. Obviously not
Yeah.
Samurott, but maybe something like
Yeah.
maybe something more like a Sudowoodo, perhaps.
Lorantis is quite interesting. I'd
Is
like to
Loran-
look at that here.
Is Lorantis only in 1 point?
No, it's on the
I
2.
think it's 2.
Lorantis on the 2.
It's 2. So if you go 8-4-2, pick Golbat and Lorantis and then build from there. Because Lorantis is it grass and bug?
It's just straight grass.
Straight grass, so you're not resisting. But I guess you won't see much fight in here.
Oh,
You've
I don't
got
know.
Golbat.
With Licky and the Licker's ingredient being nice, I think you might. Even with
This is the
Oranguru
thing.
being so good.
Yeah,
I think in a points meta, most people will pick a fighter. They just go for like a slot and just work around that.
anti-Licky.
And I feel like Shadow Machamp and Primeape and Surfetched at 2 points is really that's quite good value, really.
Primeape especially, being able to hit those psychics.
Yeah, well, I guess with Primeape or Surfetched, it's do you want Ice Punch or do you want Leaf
Grass
Blade?
Knot. Leaf Blade, yeah. To be honest, I prefer close combat on Primeape, just because one-shotting stuff is fun.
Yeah, that's true. Oranguru is not going to particularly enjoy close combat, is it? That's
quite interesting as well, because I wonder how much, I know it's quite bulky, but how much does like a Night Slash do there? You
it's
can live
not.
a few confusions.
It's not a great deal. It's not a great.
I know versus something like Hypno, you can flip it with like 2 counters, can't you, in the zeros?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was quite big in Prismatic, wasn't it? I think it's
Yeah.
Prismatic.
Yeah.
I think it was again in Venture as well, because Primeape was everywhere.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I at 4 points. In a vacuum, yes, Crobat I think is worth 4 points, but I just think I don't like 4 points here. I think having 4 points restricts too much what else you can do in my mind. So I don't think I'll be going for it. However, if you're still trying to plug the holes that Golbat can do specifically well, like the grasses, the fairies, and the fighters, Crobat is available at 1 point.
But Air Slash is terrible.
Air Slash is terrible, but it's still but it hits a bit harder than when it's attacked. So once you start getting the poison fangs off, the damage is ramping up faster. So you might put a little bit more pressure on your opponents than you might do with Golbat. particularly with the Shadow version. Like you're not going to have those same nice matchups with Lickitung or decent matchups with Lickitung. That's just how it is. But yeah, you'll still be beating your Charmers and your Razor Leafers and your Samurotts with Crobat, I'm sure. I was hoping for a bigger reaction there, but
Crobat's not on my list. Have I got an outdated version here?
Has it still got Tropius on?
Yeah.
well.
They replaced Tropius with Crobat, did they?
Tropius was the first thing I looked at when I seen that first drawing.
Yeah, so Crobat is there at one time.
I do have an okay Shadow Crobat, which I'm assuming will be better because it'll improve the uselessness of Air Slash.
I'd have thought so. Yeah, I'd have thought so.
I've just looked it up. I've got a rank 11 ready to use.
Nice.
Any further thoughts?
15. Oh, Crobat, Shadow Crobat. Let's go.
That's one of your 1-pointers for your 8-4-2 111. Any further thoughts on Golbat? Anyone?
Is it safe to say return Golbat isn't worth it here?
I think you need Shadow Ball, right, for the Psychics.
Yeah.
I mean, what you're hitting with return that you're not hitting with Poison Fang or Shadow Ball, and it's more expensive.
With dark types gone, yeah. Like return, I've run return in the past for Twilight Cup. When dark poisons are everywhere, return's quite nice to surprise a Drapion. That's quite fun. But yeah, with dark types being gone here, that's pretty much the only use for return.
Before we move on, I've just looked up the Oranguru Primate match with Night Slash Close Combat. 2 counters and you flip it in the ones.
That's pretty decent.
And if you go straight Night Slash, you leave it on 18 HP. But they have to fully farm you down and burn a shield. If they throw, you'll get to the Close Combat.
That's nice.
Very dodgy. I think we might see quite a few Primates when people figure that one out. They do come. They think
edit that bit out.
Yeah, just cut this out. I don't mind. No, run Primate. My Golbat will just eat it alive.
That's it. Yeah, no one's bringing Primate when you put Golbat. Yeah. Okay. My pick is something that I've sort of fallen in love with recently since it's got a new move. So I would have apologized to Jay because I've given Jay some stick before for bigging this up. But since Pokedex number 212, Magcargo was given Incinerate, I really like it because now, when you compare it to Talonflame, right, it's a sort of love it or I hate it, man. I happen to love it. Magcargo does the same thing, but just with different moves. Like you've got your fire coverage in Overheat, which is ridiculous, by the way. Like it hits so hard, like you've retaining that from Ninetales, and you've got Stone Edge to hit. I mean, forget Rock Tomb, useless move. Even with the buff,
double nuke.
Yeah, double nuke, 100%. Stone Edge will get you out of bad situations. Overheat will do what you want it to do. Rock Tomb takes that away.
They're two of the hardest hitting charge moves in the game with stab.
Yeah, and you get to them both in 3 Incinerates, 15 turns. That's faster than counter users get to 45 energy moves.
Decent, yeah.
Yeah, well, it's faster than Toxicroak gets the Sludge Bomb. So, it's the same. No, it is. It's faster. It's 1 turn faster. Yeah. So
yeah,
it's not slow, and yeah, it's just really good. It's when I was looking for charm resists, and I was thinking poison or fire here with Steel's gone. I kind of wanted both because I really just don't like losing to charm. I detest losing to charm. So if I can do as much as I can to put my opponent off running charm. That's great. And Magcargo is pretty much the king of charm counters, because typically speaking, it'll beat all your poisons. Just a lot of them by virtue of them being bug or grass type as well. But even the neutral ones, like I think rock resist poison, so poison jab's not putting much. Yeah, so it's not putting much pressure on you. So you can fire off your stone edges fine. Like Quillfish will give you problems, but that's and Toxicroak. That's about it.
Well, just water and ground type moves in general, right?
Yeah,
Two double
exactly.
weaknesses isn't great.
Yeah, but on fire types and poison types, there's not many of those. And it's nice as well. It's a really, really hard Pidgeot counter, which I think Pidgeot's going to be really good, whether people run it or not, because people will pick Greedent or Oranguru because they think because it's good at beating the ghosts, and they are. So maybe people will think, well, do I need two normals? And I would agree, you probably don't. So whether we'll see Pidgeot much, I don't know. But for similar reasons to Golbat, its ability to control switch, I would like the opportunity to have something that really hard balls Pidgeot. And Magcargo does that. It's good at rolling a lot of versatility into one slot. It has got lots of weaknesses. It's really weak to mud boys, really weak to water, and of course it's got the counter weakness as well. So you have to be you have to be very aware of that when you build with it. But it's like a lot of those things. Yeah, you're weak to counter, but does Primate want to take an overheat?
Yeah.
So
even Stone Edge, because the Incinerates do so much now.
There you go.
I think, if I remember right, versus Nidoqueen, if they don't bait, you win straight Stone Edge now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the Shadow Nidoqueen, which is obviously the best one. And it'll probably be close or IV based, but
yeah,
I'm pretty sure you win straight Stone Edge because they don't live a second.
Yeah. So yeah, you've got ways out of bad situations.
Yeah.
And the flying resistance in general is nice, whether it's just for Nidoqueen or whether you take into account things like Golbat and Zapdos and Mantine's gonna struggle a little bit versus it, because even with Bubble being double super effective, it takes a while to kill it. And so you're gonna have to throw someone. You're gonna have to throw at least one Bubble Beam if you want to avoid taking a couple of Stone Edges. It's got nice play against, as a fire type. It's got nice play back versus Dugong, and well, I think it'll just straight up beat Dugong. Well, no, Dugong runs Aquajet, doesn't it? So it's a bit sketchy versus Dugong, but it's
King of the Fires, though, isn't it? It'll beat all the other fires because
yeah,
double resist.
And given how splashable Ninetales is, and we know people like Ninetales, but that's a really nice thing. And it's quite bulky in general. It's bulkier than Ninetales. It's got a lot going for it, I think. And at 2 points, I think it's worth a shot. Yeah. Although it probably does lose to Samurott, Phil. So
It probably doesn't.
Anyone got any thoughts?
So Stone Edge over Rock Tomb.
Yeah, I like good moves, not bad ones. Yeah.
What was the matter with Escav and Umbreon in?
Obsidian.
Yeah, my Umbreon got wrecked by a Rock Tomb Magcargo. It was just horrifying. Just kept chipping away at me.
Oh, really?
It's like this one of the longest battles I've ever had in my life.
Just debuffed you all the way.
Yeah, and then your foul plays are doing nothing.
I played against a Greedent actually with it earlier today, and it's like the nice thing about Greedent is how fast it is with body slams. But of course, you resist body slams, so it has to do that extra bullet seed to get to the crunch. And when they're doing that, the spam is noticeably slower going for crunches than body slams, which is a nice little plus point to it as well. Phil, have you got any thoughts on Magcargo?
Yeah, I like it. You said Mud Boys. I think there's only Quag. I mean, Seismitoad, you ain't gonna see.
Not even at one point. No, it's just bad.
No, it's just bad. Quag. I love a good Quag. But like you said, are we going to see the grasses have a bit of a role here?
So I'll let you in on something, right? So the second episode 2 hasn't come out at this point, but Mystic Gas is on it, and he claims that he thinks yeah, I mean, he comes out with some shit, right? But this is it. But he claims that he thinks the months with the highest usage at the end of the month will be Quag and Tangrowth. So
bold
statement. Quag being there.
Do you think Quag being there?
I could see it being there. I'm not 100% on it because grass moves are on so much here. Basically, everything can learn a grass move.
Well, I won't go that far. You can squeeze things on. Right.
You've got Cress, Licky Tongue, Greedent with the Bullet Seeds, obviously. You've got Mew available, Lurantis, Superior, which is actually fairly solid as a grass type here, with the possible Aerial Ace. You got what else? Let's have a look. You've got all your grasses essentially. The new Electrode issue and Electrode could be interesting.
Flojus.
Yeah. Even Alolan Raichu's fairly okay. Surfetched if people go there as a fighter.
Yeah. So I just don't. I don't think Quag will be all that here, and I think as well, if people want to go with a 4-point and an 8-point pick, that limits you to 1 2-point pick. And I don't.
There's better 2-point picks. I love Quag, but there's better 2 points picks. Like I said, Orangaroo's the centre of this matter.
With Steel types gone as well. That's yeah.
I think Phil's trying to convince himself.
Oh no, that's first pick. Orangaroo was the first pick. I was looking for psychics are brilliant. What's the best psychic? Orangaroo, sorted. Right, I built one there and then.
Nice.
And then you realised it was a shit hypno.
Shipno. Nice. Mainly for that ghost resist, it's great.
I don't see what Quag's beating here that's that good.
Magcargo.
Yeah, there you go. Well, that's my thing on it, right? Quag can kind of make you. Quag's going to help you fall into that rock, fire, grass counter trap, and I don't necessarily think Quag's conducive.
I'm trying to stay away from that this time around. Yeah,
I don't think Quag's conducive to good team building here. Look, don't get me wrong. There'll be some teams. There'll be a perfect Quag-shaped hole at the end in your 6, and you know what? If that's the case, fine. But I don't think Quag's the place to start, even though I am terrified of it.
I think there are better ground. Like if you're looking to wall what electrics, flying, go Stunfisk. It's better. It's straight up better. You lose, fair enough. You lose to Quag, but it's just better.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, I agree. Well, has anyone got any final thoughts on either anything we've discussed or anything we haven't discussed?
So my pick, Matthew, is Samurott.
Go on, Phil. We've got 5 minutes left. Go on, give us the quick sell.
No, it's fine. I'm glad you persuaded me out of Samurott. There's plenty of good 1-point picks. I'd very easily not make 17 points. There's quite a lot of 2 points and 1 points that are intriguing me, so I could very easily do it on 9 or 11.
Oh, I wouldn't go that far. My favourite team that I've made so far is 16. But yeah, I can see that. Yeah, but I think that's shows that the team have done a good job because it shows there's viability in every tier, and it shows, and it will be a trap. People will think, well, this mon is worth 2 points. This mon is worth 1 point. Therefore, the 2 point mon is better, right? People will fall into it, and they'll make their teams objectively worse by spending all their points. So it's an interesting little challenge for the last month of the season, right?
I think some of the 16-point teams will be interesting. Go 4-4, a 2, and then double 1. Because then you get to pick Golbat and like Ninetales.
My 16 was an 8, 2-2, and 2 1s, which was
Not bad.
I like the 2-2 or quad 2. I think it's going to be where I end up personally.
Do you not think a lot of the GPL players will just pick Shadow Nidoqueen?
Oh yeah, I'm sure they will. Yeah,
I really hope so.
Without even thinking.
Yeah,
with no thought behind it whatsoever.
that's
I hope
fine.
so.
Phil's running Oranguru, Aaron's running Golbat. You're running Mantine.
It looks awful. It looks so RPS. If you run Nidoqueen, you're leading it and you're poison fanging everything. Unless you go up against Magcargo and then they're going to throw Earth Power and lose the ones because you go straight Stone Edge.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still not happy with that Magcargo matchup. But yeah, I would agree. I don't think Nidoqueen's worth the points here. But
Just go Diggersby instead. It walls more things.
I really like
It's a better mon. And you can run Hyper Beam if you want.
I really like Diggersby. Diggersby, I think, is going to be a huge sleeper this month, and it's going to cause people some real problems when they face it. But
Takes Crest very close, even with Grass Knot.
takes everything very close.
Mm-hmm.
Because what
you know, Flyers. That's your answer. Flyers. And even then, not many of them are great.
Yeah, and you've still got to be a bit cautious with Hyper Beam, because really,
you don't really need Earthquake.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess Magcargo. You're going to convince people to run Hyper Beam so you can run Magcargo.
Yeah.
It just destroys it, doesn't it?
They're on to me. All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining.
Yeah. Cheers.
Glad Golbat's
Thanks for
getting some
having
love.
us, Ian. Thanks for the lesson, boys.
Dear. Yeah, good luck this month, guys, and yeah, catch you
Cheers.
later.
Catch you later.
Cheers, mate. Ciao.